Hey, what's up, everyone? I I haven't done a video in about 2 or 3 weeks, but 11 weeks, wean off. But first off, what I want to talk about is at this stage, I don't really have any symptoms of withdrawal. I don't have any body aches or anything like that, but I do have cravings for opiates, and that's that's the brain saying we want to go back on it, and I'm never going to. But there's more that I want to talk about than simply what's going on with the whole withdrawals, because they're non-existent now. But I want to talk about the whole idea of withdrawing from it and addiction as a whole. So what I did was I used, for about 2 weeks, I used kratom to get me through the harder symptoms, right? And then I weaned myself down off of kratom. Now, first off, my opinion of opiates and methadone has been severely negative since I went through this whole thing. There's not a lot of videos and explanation on methadone, especially those who went through it. Now, you may see a doctor, and a doctor says, oh, it's going to be uncomfortable, and you may feel like you're dying, but you're not dying. But really, it's so much more than that. It is extreme, and that's why I never advise going cold turkey like me, because I actually had to. I wasn't going to be able to get on even there was no methadone where I'm at, and there was going to only be a Suboxone treatment like 2 months down the road. And of course, by then you're largely over it, right? So the whole thing was, it was forced upon me, and I made the best of it. But it was horrifying. It was the hardest thing I'd ever had to go through. I was a combat medic in Iraq. Sorry, the Wi-Fi, I guess, is disabling. But I was a combat medic in Iraq, and I was in the Army, and through basic training, 2 deployments there. This was still largely the hardest thing I had to go through, because it was like a slow. And so I want to talk about what would help people and what's dangerous. And now, a lot of people will say, and it's true, that kratom is an opiate-like substance itself, and it is. I mean, there's people going from kratom to methadone because they want to get off of it, and it can be very expensive. I was on 30 pills of kratom, which was 15 grams. And it largely took the symptoms away, but at the same time, you could definitely feel an opiate-like feeling. Now, I thank the Lord for kratom, because otherwise, my mental stability would just be gone. But I say use it with caution, because you definitely can become addicted to it, and that's going to be way more than your methadone dose, and it's not going to, it increases rapidly, even more than methadone. So I would say use kratom if you can, and if you can talk to your doctor and stuff about that. But if you want to use kratom, I would say that it's a good thing for weaning off. But just make sure you have a support system, family, friends, and tell them, hey, look, I'm using kratom. I need you to watch my kratom use. Maybe even have your significant other or one of your family members hold it there. Get to a certain dose, and then say after 2, 3, even 4 weeks, say, okay, we need to start going down. And make sure you do that beforehand, because when you're going through it, you're gonna beg and plead them not to. And they have to be strong for you. Another thing is there are over-the-counter substances that people are taking a lot of, And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to give anybody any ideas. But one of my friends um, passed away because they for like 3 weeks in a row they took first 50 of these pills, then 100, and got all the way up to 800 at a time because it is an opiate-like substance if you do it. It was used in the early 1900s as a painkiller, and then they found opium and use it. They knew about opium, but they started using opium, and so they cut this substance up into a lot and use it as something else. Okay. Please do not use over-the-counter medications to try and curb your withdrawals, because it's dangerous. It really is, and it's not meant for that, right? And I just want to say to the person who, has to withdraw, they don't have a choice and all that, it's scary, I know, because you're gonna start panicking, and especially in states where they don't sell kratom and things like that. I mean, the doctors will give you comfort medications, and by comfort I mean anti-diarrheal. They'll give you anti-nausea and stuff like that, but they won't give you painkillers. And when you're going through this, it's hard for someone like me who's already been through it to say be strong, but that's what I advise. Take this as a challenge, a warrior's challenge. This is something that very few people can do. All of these people who are getting on methadone, they're planning on doing it for life or for years and years. I mean, my doctor admitted to me, well, I mean, this is something that you're going to be on for possibly for life because you don't want to be taking other medications and stuff. And I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll just keep taking it until something happens. And then something did happen. And so because I moved and there was no methadone clinics around. And I was getting it from the VA. I was getting methadone from the VA. But anyways, these doctors that talk about methadone withdrawal and ER doctors, they don't know the pain that you're going through. And it's really, it really sucks when you're in so much pain. They're like, yeah, I know it's uncomfortable, but you have to go through it. It's unlike anything else. I mean, like, when you break a bone or something, it's intense pain. It only lasts for a day or so because they treat it, This is, I mean, unless you go out and score heroin, which you shouldn't do, methadone is gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt for 2 months. I mean, I just started feeling better, and it's week 11, day 78. But tomorrow I'm going to start doing addiction videos and talk about my experiences, the experiences that other people have gone through and all that stuff. So look for that if you can. But anyways, my time is up. But I just want to say, stay strong, and if you need any advice and whatever I can help you with, I will. My channel is small enough that I see every comment and all that stuff. So anyways, stay strong, and I love y'all. Bye.